Leaving Certificate, Politics and Society, Ordinary Level, and the topic is the Government of Ireland. The Government of Ireland is made up of the Constitution of Ireland. This outlines the constitutional rights of every citizen. The Constitution outlines the roles of the main institutions and the courts. A constitution can be amended via a referendum. Example, legislation of divorce in 1994 and the same-sex marriages 2015. And referring to political ideologies, this would be an example of liberal ideologies. Separation of powers is a very important context within the Government of Ireland. The Irish state is divided into legislative, executive and judicial. The separation of powers means that no single part of government should have absolute power. The legislature is the law-making body of the government, i.e. the Oireachtas, where TDs vote on legislation. The executive, which is the government, has the power to enforce law. It also runs the various departments and appoints the relevant ministers. The judiciary is the branch of government responsible for interpreting and upholding the law. They have the power to decide if a piece of legislation or law is unconstitutional. The President of Ireland. The role of the President includes appointment of the Taoiseach, members of the government, judges and other officials, signing legislation into law and or referring bills to the Supreme Court, representing the people of Ireland as an ambassador, acting as a supreme commander of the defence forces. The Taoiseach. The role of the Taoiseach includes the Taoiseach as head of government is central coordinator of the work of the ministers and their departments of state. The Taoiseach assigns particular departments to the ministers on their appointment by the President. The Taoiseach also nominates the Attorney General for appointment by the President. The Taoiseach also nominates 11 people to serve in Shannon Éireann.
This is Leinster House. The Dáil has met here since the 9th of September 1922. The first ever meeting of Dáil Éireann took place in Dublin's Mansion House on the 21st of January 1919. The 166 men and women who are elected to Dáil Éireann are called deputies or TDs, that's Seachtaí Dála. They are directly elected by Irish citizens who are over 18 and from constituencies that elect 3, 4 or 5 representatives. According to the Constitution, a general election must be held at least every 5 years. Members take their seats in either the government or opposition benches. During the parliamentary session, generally, the Dáil meets every Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday and on every second Friday. The first business of a new Dáil is the election of the Ceann Comhairle, who will preside over its sittings and applies the rules governing procedures. These rules are called Standing Orders of the House. To the left of the Ceann Comhairle's chair are the government benches and the opposition benches are to the right. The seating is agreed between the party whips and each deputy is assigned a seat for voting purposes. Each sitting day an order paper is published which lists the business of that day. Generally, the business of the day includes leaders' questions, parliamentary questions, topical issues, legislation, motions and private members' business. These procedures give all members an opportunity to question the government and hold it to account. One of the most important roles of the Dáil is to make the laws for our country. Legislation can start in either the Dáil or Shannon. However, only proposals to amend the Constitution or bills with a financial implication can be initiated in Dáil Éireann. When a vote is called in the Dáil, members vote from their designated seat by pressing the Tá or Níl button. The Ceann Comhairle then declares the result.
Ceann Comhairle is the Speaker or Chairperson. The role of the Concordia includes calls on members to speak, and all speeches must be addressed to the chair. Has authority to suppress disorder, to enforce prompt obedience to rulings, and may order members to withdraw from the House. In the case of great disorder, can suspend or adjourn the House. The Concordia formally opens each day's sitting by reading the official prayer. The TD Teacht the Dáil, or Deputy to the Dáil. The role of a TD. TDs appointed Taoiseach and the government following a general election. They provide a link between their constituents and the government and their Oireachtas. For example, when a constituent brings an issue to the attention of a TD, the TD may raise it in the Dáil. TDs propose debate and vote on proposed bills that come before the House. Here is an example of all the different departments and ministers that we currently have. The Irish Civil Service. The Civil Service are the public officials who advise and assist government ministers in the running of their departments. The head civil servant of each department is the Secretary General. The Civil Service has three main functions. It advises the government on policy, it helps prepare and draft new legislation, and it helps the government to run the country according to the legislation passed by the Oireachtas. If you look down here on the bottom right hand side, we see that there's 315,000 public service employees at the end of September 2017. Of those 315,000, 38,483 were members of the civil service. So in 2019 there was two short questions come up. The first was to explain the role of the civil service in Ireland, which we just looked at. The next question was name two government departments in the Irish government. Describe the work of one of these departments. To which branch of government does the Dáil belong? And name the House of the Oireachtas.